a great domestique today. He's been on every move. He's been at the front, pulling brakes back, chasing everything down, working like a Trojan for the French team.
That's Magnussen, the Swede there, isn't it? He's got a fair turn of speed.
Yep, it's going to be a very interesting finish. Everybody's pulling themselves back into this race, but Melchior Mauri Pratt, he's away up the road. 5 kilometers remaining. He's with Laurent Brochard on the left-hand side, and these two riders have decided they're going to take the risk of pushing it all the way down to the finish. Well, there is Van Bon. He's come up now. If Van Bon stays with this group, the title is going to go to Holland, because he is a very fast man. He comes from a track background. Mauri Pratt, he's opened up the gap now. He's going to be, if he can, the second Spanish world champion on the road, because Abraham Olano was the first man to take that title for Spain, but Van Bon has reacted immediately.
Well, the crowd are getting very excited at the finishing area here, because they've got the broadcast going out in French and in Spanish and the Basque language as well, and now they know Mauri's away there, previous winner of the Tour of Spain. He had quite a quiet time after the Tour of Spain. He became very much more a domestique for the Once team. He has to do something now. The Rebellion moves across, Giannetti moves across to get onto, I think, Bert Dietz's wheel here, but getting a nice toe up there. No, in fact, it is Udo Bolsa, another strong man. Very good move then by Giannetti, and these 3 men down the road still haven't got it all their own way at all.
Well, the nerves and the panic are starting to set in now. 3 men at the lead. They know that if they work together, at least they've got the chance of getting a medal. 3 medals and 3 places. That's exactly what they're looking for at the end of this day. But the Italians won't give up. They haven't got the man that they want up there. Casagrande now coming to the front. He's decided he's going to put the pressure on, try and bring them back together, because he probably feels that David Rebellin has a chance if it comes down to the sprint. But the Italians thought they were going to win the sprint yesterday in the men's under 23, and they didn't do that. But at a stage like this, you have to give it all. You have to have confidence in one man. But Magnussen is queuing up there. He's starting to feel a bit twitchy.
He's a big fella too, and he can go some. But once you get onto that straight road there, the big sprinters will start to come through, and still that gold, silver and bronze are at stake at the end of this race, which started out this morning at 9:45. And the riders have been racing now for just coming up to 6¼ hours for this race, covering in the end 160 miles in all, 256 kilometers, and there are a lot of people in there still with a chance to get those medals. It must be really this moment, Paul, the pitter-patter in your heart to know I must do the move right, must do it. You know, what are they?
It's a very nervous moment. It really is. The gap there to that group behind is 4 seconds. Van Bon taking a lot of risks coming down here. These riders know that this for them is possibly a last-ditch effort. They have to really go for it now, because if they get caught, they've used too much energy to come back and fight again in the sprint, which is why you can see Van Bon at the front here going round the corners as if they were completely and utterly dry. He doesn't care at the moment. All he cares about is getting down off this mountain as quickly as possible. Brochard refusing to work. You can see shaking his head a little bit, trying to get back up to the wheel of Mauri Pratt. But Mauri, he knows if he can just get 5 or 10 lengths ahead of these riders in one of these corners, then they're not going to pull him back. The Spanish, they're going to go mad if this man can get the world title. But behind it is still the Italians trying to pull it all back together.
And unfortunately, when they come down this finishing straight, they're swinging into a very strong headwind as such. And for a man like Mauri, who hasn't got a sprint really, nor has Brochard, Van Bon has. This wind, you see, look, Mauri say, come on, come through, come through, come through. They're actually quite covered by the buildings on either side. Now Van Bon starts to launch an attack and go through. As soon as they come out of the buildings, they get exposed to the sea breeze, and then when they turn left, the last 500, 600 metres are into a headwind. At the moment they're sheltered. The wind is coming over against the buildings on your left, and they'll turn straight into it about 500 metres from the end. Who's got the strength to last it out? Can they stay away, these 3 men? Or will the chase, including Mazar, the reigning world champion, swallow them up?
Well, Van Bon has certainly got a very good turn of speed, but so also has Melchior Mauri Pratt. He's the kind of man, you know, who can ride and peg him back very slowly, but the helicopter shot showed to us there that it's splitting up behind. The rest of the group is starting to come back. Nervousness really starting to get into these riders. They feel now they've got a great chance. The crowd are absolutely going wild here because they feel that the Spanish have a great chance of victory on their own home turf.
Well, in 1995, Olano became the road champion, and then Indre came into the second spot there in 95. But looking back now, he recognises that there's more riders coming up here. They might well have to settle then for the tricks of a sprint, because here they come.
Udo Bolz, the German, he's been very attentive over these last few laps. Coming across onto his back wheel is Bo Hamburger, and then the next man along is Laurent Dufaux, third in the recent Tour of Spain, and it is so close. 1 kilometre to go. There is the red kite, and another attack coming across from the front here. Brochard has gone, and I think this may well be the decisive move for Brochard.
Brochard was obviously going at 9 tenths, is now going at 10 tenths, Brazil 11 tenths to get away, because in fact none of the top sprinters except for Van Bonn are in this little group now. Way back down the road is Mouzot. It looks like it might all be over as far as the top sprinters are concerned. Mouzot and Jalabert were looking for a top spot, and Dufaux has gone away. That won't give them any chance at all, but Van Bonn has closed the gap down.
But Brochard won't be happy with that. Van Bonn is a very fast man indeed. He's come right onto the back wheel of Laurent Brochard. Obviously, Laurent Jalabert and Johan Museeuw have marched each other out, but these two at the front here are going to have to launch the sprint very soon now, because otherwise the group of 4 riders behind will come back, and you can see Udo Bolz is starting to wind it up.
Bolz has also got an ability to go from about 300 metres out and ride hard, and off the front there goes Aus at the moment in the red pants, trying to come up to him too. He's got a good turn of speed, so at the moment it looks like Van Bonn has got an opportunity. Now coming into this headwind, and on the front Brochard recognises too that he's got to go on a do or die, but Van Bonn's come off his wheel now. Van Bonn looks back. Has he gone too soon? Van Bonn for Holland, riding down here. The Rabobank rider has just about 50 minutes to go, and then Brochard comes again. Brochard again, and Brochard's coming through. Bo Hamburger is there. Brochard gets it on the line. Brochard, Hamburger, and Van Bonn, and Patrick Chassé for our French side of Eurosport has now blown the gasket. Patrick Chassé, I think I ought to put my microphone his way. He's doing handstands almost alongside Laurent Fignon and all the French squad here, but Dave got a brilliant success there. Brochard now has got a gold medal for France, and well, he looks strong all the way, and interesting when he tried to do that 2 or 3 laps ago. He also was showing his strength, and he kept it good towards the end. He had to work for Jalabert for so long, but in the end Jalabert just hadn't got it in his legs, and so it's a Brochard. Now the French must be elated. Jalabert's got the time trial championship of the world, the gold, and Brochard's got the road championship for gold as well. So 2 gold medals for France to go. Of course, Jenny Longo's a medal in the women's time trial likewise, so they've really got to go back with a handful of medals from this competition here in San Sebastian. Well, Paul, who'd have thought that Brochard would have got it in the end? He was strong, we knew that, but I thought Van Bonn went a bit too soon, eh?
He certainly did. He knew that there was going to be a reaction would come from that group of 4 riders behind. He knew that he had to start the sprint. He did that. He went from a very long way out here. You can see him on the front. Brochard then managed to recover just a little bit, and he comes up alongside, and this is the moment when Van Bonn knew that he'd been beaten. He knew he had no more in his legs to be able to respond to the great performance here by the Frenchman Laurent Brochard. Enough time to look over his shoulders, enough time to know that he isn't going to lose this championship, and obviously taking heed from your notes, David, he put his arms up after he'd crossed the line.
Sensible chap, because it was going to be close there with like Van Bonn, but it was a fascinating way really that the top men like Mouzot and Jalabert were marking each other, kept a bit late, but Mouzot probably still suffering a bit from that infection which kept him out of the Paris Tour. He was going to ride, he didn't start in the morning, he got this high temperature, and he rode very cagily today, came good towards the end, but you can't mark everybody, and that just showed that Brochard, once he knew that Jalabert wasn't going to be able to get into the kill, took off there, got the victory, and for Denmark too, nice ride for Bo Hamburger. I'm happy he's got that one. He's been around some time now, he's stayed in the Tour de France, and he's one of those good working time chaps. He's got the silver, Van Bonn has got the bronze, and back in 4th place was Udo Bolz, and 5th to Mauri, who really did the only thing he could do, that's try and ride off the front before the big men started to ride in towards the end. And there Dufaux, rather happy too. You see Dufaux here is about to throw his arms in the air because he rides for Festina as well. So while nations have one thing to go for, on this occasion the teammates, you see the Brochard at the top, Dufaux at the bottom, and of course Brochard sponsored by a Spanish company anyway, called Lotus Watches in Spain. They'll be very pleased with that one too. So the Spanish have got some interest in the win of Brochard here. He with a bandana taking a convincing victory to go with that jolly nice stage he had in the Tour de France on July the 14th. Chapeau! coverage of the World Cycling Championships from San Sebastian. The French have come back with the 3 gold medals, in addition to the one that was won today by Laurent Brochard. They also had that success of Laurent Jalabert, who got the time trial result for the elite men, and Jenny Longo, who won the time trial for the women's elite as well. 3 gold medals then for France, and I hope you enjoyed Eurosport's coverage of the whole of the programme. I've been joined in the commentary box by Paul Sherwin, who's going to rush off to catch the aeroplane to go back to Great Britain now, and then off to Australia tomorrow. Paul, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed these last couple of days at San Sebastian.
Well, certainly, David, it's been a fantastic race today. I really have enjoyed it. As always, the World Championships is the best.